Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I would like to gift my book, The Golden Key, Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance to you at goldenkey.gift, where you can get the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD at checkout. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. It is a magical Monday here in the studio as I record, and I'm doing just fine. How are you? Hope you're feeling good, appreciating the moment wherever you are receiving this broadcast. And yeah, today I want to talk about a couple things, couple stories of things that have happened in my own life in the recent weeks, and even, well, I'm going to share a couple different things. One has been over the last few weeks, and one was in the last couple days. But pertaining to how important it is to follow our intuition. That's the first piece that I want to just talk a little bit about. I have, every time I have a strong intuition and I follow it, I am never regret it. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, the more you work out that muscle and the more you're putting faith in the intuitive process, the more it delivers, because it's one of those things I think for a lot of us is we can have an intuition about something, then we second guess it. And then we don't necessarily follow through with it. And, and then whatever happens. But, I've come to the sort of perspective and realization in with myself, and it really has held up thus far. And I want to encourage you to try it as well. If you have an intuition about something, and then you start going into second guessing it, right? Taking on the perspective of, if I follow this intuition and I actually lead with believing the intuition is there for me, and it's my inner guidance is the most powerful, form of intelligence that can come through. Intuition, I believe, is the most enlightened form of information and intelligence. Clear intuition, right? Clear communication in that way. It's the most heightened form of information and knowledge that we can access because it's coming from higher self, guides, whatever you want to call it, source, however you want to kind of break that down. And that is sort of coming, therefore it's coming from a vantage point that's taking all factors into play, all the factors that you could never calculate from your own limited vantage point as a human. Right. So it's like it's seeing the chessboard. I often say we're playing checkers and our higher self is playing chess. It's seeing, the chessboard from a very zoomed out perspective that is taking into account all these factors you just couldn't possibly be aware of in your, waking consciousness, right? Your human level consciousness. So, as we take that journey of learning how to discern and follow our intuition more and more, it becomes a dance, because sometimes you're like, oh, is this my intuition or am I just crazy? Or, then fearful thoughts or counter thoughts can start creeping in about why not to follow it. And so what I've landed on is if it feels like an intuitive, that very, without even thinking, there's just a strong impulse of, yes, this is for you, or do this thing or don't do this thing, whatever it is. And then if I start second guessing it, I will go back to, okay, my initial knee-jerk reaction, what I believe was my intuition, that higher guidance coming through in some way, shape, or form. Even if I go with that and it ends up, not what I would think is ideal, well, what is ideal? So a lot of times what we think is best for us isn't actually best for us anyway. So I'm going to just tell the story. If I'm following my intuition even if it doesn't go as planned or what I would view from my limited vantage point as a good outcome, I am going to trust that by putting trust in the process of learning to go with my intuition, that I can't lose. It's happening for me, not to me, even if it's not what I anticipated or thought, I wanted to navigate to. And so that really brings me a lot of peace regarding this topic, because it's like, okay, just in the fact that I think that was my intuition and I'm following it, I win, right? And because I'm setting the intention to be more in line with listening to my intuition, because I want to be more in alignment with my higher self and that highest form of knowledge, wisdom, intelligence that I possibly can access beyond anything I could ever calculate or comprehend from my human level understanding and perspective, right? So follow your intuition. You can't lose if you're being courageous enough to do that, right? Whatever that intuition may be. And in my case, I'll share a story that's a great example. This week, as of this recording, a few days from now, I'm going to be going to Arcadia Festival. The Festival for a More Beautiful World, I believe, is what it's called. And it's Aubrey Marcus, fellow podcaster, is putting the festival on. And it was a really great example of following my intuition, because, I go to a lot of like transformational festivals and things, as you guys know who have been listening, for a long time. I went to my first Burning Man in 2005, and, I have friends that produce festivals, and just, it's been a big part of my community and life for a long time. So it somehow popped up, I don't know, a month plus ago. Arcadia Festival, Aubrey Marcus organizing of his first festival. And, as soon as I saw it, I had a strong intuitive hit about, you need to go to this. And then I looked at it a little bit more, and I saw, you've got to go through this application process. It's not going to be a big festival. It's going to be like, 1,000 people. Well, of course, like bigger festivals, you can have, I use Burning Man as an example of a gathering that's, 70,000 people. That's the high extreme. And then, a lot of the even smaller transformational festivals are like 5,000, 3,000 people and everything in between, right? So 1,000 is really intimate for this type of event. And you have to go through this whole application process, right? You have to sort of be approved entry, if you will. And for me, normally that would be a little bit of a dissuading thing. It's like, I don't want to fill out a long application and go through all that, But once again, my intuition was so strong, I did. And I was approved to go, of one of the 1,000 people. And then, ticket prices are 3, 4, 5 times what a normal transformational festival cost as well. They were $1,111. And once again, though, I was like, you know what? And on top of that, this was in Wyoming, which is, if it's camping out, which is all that was still available, to camp at this time when I was looking to potentially to book, it's like, okay, well, I'd need to bring gear and all those things, which, transformational festivals, I really prefer to camp anyway. Great. But that's a long drive. Most of them I go to are in California, right? So, yet again, I'm going to continue with my intuition. I'm going to go. So, but, all in, like $2,500 for me. I could bring a few people with me once I was approved too. I could invite up to 3 others. So I did. I moved forward with this, and I'm like, 16-hour drive. Wow. Pricey. Okay, I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden, as I'm kind of following, now I'm part of the people attending. And so I get a notification that, we've lost our venue in Wyoming, and now we're shifting to Las Vegas. Well, instantly I'm like, I'm 3.5 hours away, much closer. And, it's going to be at Area 15, Meow Wolf is within Area 15. And so we're recommending, we're trying to get blocks of hotels here at this particular resort nearby. It's what Meow Wolf recommends. Oh, okay. So now this is non-camping. And they end up refunding, part of my costs that went to camping right away to everyone, I guess. Right. And I'm like, okay, all right. It's closer and, that was refunded. Okay, cool. And then, I realized, they're trying to get hotels. Well, my travel company, Hello Vacay, which I've told you guys in the past, you can get free memberships if you go. I'll put a link for you. Again, I haven't talked about this in a while, but we're partnered with Priceline, so we have up to 70% off public rates. Whenever you see any of the main hotel sites, they all have parity pricing, the same rates. But behind a paywall or membership, you can have deep discounts. In my case, we have a long history in partnership. My former travel company worked with Priceline, so we got access to these crazy deals. So if you guys just follow the link in the show notes here, I'll give you the code and access to get a free membership. Just access them. So before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Athletic Greens. I recently went to a naturopathic doctor who did some testing and determined I was having issues with gut health. So when I had the opportunity to start taking Athletic Greens, I jumped at the chance. With 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins and minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. It not only helps with your gut health, it helps your nervous and immune systems, energy levels, and more. And since it contains super high-quality ingredients in powder form, it has a very high absorption rate, whereas many pills don't. With just 1 scoop in a cup of water, you can arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition for less than $3 a day. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give Positive Head listeners a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, which many people are quite low in, as well as 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/positivehead. Again, head over to athleticgreens.com/positivehead to take ownership over your health today. Anyway, so after the change of venue and, I saw that they were trying to secure discounts, I was like, you know what, why don't I, help out and offer free memberships to people who are attending Arcadia. So I reached out and they were super grateful. We had really good deals. Like my own hotel, I saved like 44% off, the public rates. And I said, hey, I want to give free memberships to, anyone who's going to Arcadia, this festival. Super grateful. And, now we've had like 500 people, sign up in the last few weeks. Then they turned around, get this, and because it was such a short-term venue change, they ended up, Aubrey ended up saying, he couldn't get a permit, I guess, to do a festival that short term. But a bunch of people had already paid for tickets and we had already changed venues once. So he decided just to absorb all the cost and make it a free event to everyone who had already paid and been a part of it, So it went from initially being this super expensive thing to now 100% of the money was refunded back to us and me, and everyone else. And then I had booked my own hotel, and then I have another friend that's going that I gave my extra pass to, and he had access to a free property, a house to stay at. So even got to cancel that. So it went from being, this super expensive long drive thing to completely free, epic lineup, epic everything about it. And I got to be, the hero in a sense and help everyone with these free memberships and connect with like an incredible organization. What better for crew for me to connect with is the people running, Aubrey Marcus's podcast is one of probably the biggest show closest to a lot of the content in the last year or two. It's gotten more and more like the content of this show, right? So just one of these, I want to share this story because it's such a great example. I just followed my intuition in this, in this instance, and it led to, just an incredible unfolding of events, right? And so, that's one of the stories I wanted to just kind of share with you as I reiterate the importance of following your intuition. Next, a story I'd like to share is the importance of humility when you are out of alignment. And this is one, you guys have been following and listening to this show for a long time, know where all the bodies are buried with me as far as my own work. I've my own demons to work on, if you will. I've shared many times, my agitation can be my biggest obstacle at times, getting sort of like going from 0 to 100 quickly and getting just agitated. And what I've become aware of is, even though I still may have that happen sometimes, I am quick to acknowledge, whereas in the past, my pride would never let me be wrong. All of us have experienced that at different points in our journey, right? Now I'm within moments of being not my highest and greatest self, I'm willing to say, okay, you know what? I apologize. I didn't handle that the best way I should. And, let's work through this, right? And so I found myself doing that a lot in recent years because, one, I'm really comfortable with doing it now, which feels really great, it's like, okay, maybe I didn't handle that as ideally as I should have, but at least I acknowledged it very quickly and corrected. And I think that's an important thing. That's really what I want to share here is humility is so, so key on your journey to becoming your next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And so you're not going to always get it right. You're not right. You're not always going to be the Zen Buddhist monk who just handles everything with grace and ease. But when you don't, just as quickly as possible, be willing to take ownership of that and be courageous enough and really strong and really badass enough, human to say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say I did not handle that as well as I could. I was a little out of alignment or a lot out of alignment, whatever it is, and I'm going to take ownership. Now, how can I fix it? And so I had a little bit of this happen. When I say a little bit, it's like I wasn't crazy out of alignment, but I wasn't, my delivery wasn't as good as it could be. And so let me share this story now with all that set up. So I was having some junk removed from the Mystic Manor here. And by the way, it's something that we've been really cleaning out all the nooks and crannies here. Me and my partner, Karen, who, helps to run things around here. And it's one of the things I've been so motivated to do it is it's like energy doesn't lie. It's reflected in your space. So, cleaning out I remember a year or so ago, she was talking about the feng shui, the energetics of cleaning out, in this case, our drain in our bathroom. And it was real clogged in the shower with we have this kind of weird drain because everything's custom in this house. So it's this long, skinny drain and it had all this hair and stuff down in it. And she spent an hour or so cleaning it out. And then she was like, now watch, Brandon, because I cleaned out all that old energy, the bathroom signifies abundance or, wealth or, whatever in feng shui energetically. So watch a bunch of abundance roll in. And sure enough, we had a ton of unplanned for, people that wanted to rent the space for their own events. And it was 2 in a day. And they were these big ones, right? We're whoa, you totally nailed it, So we've been really just in general cleaning up our act, taking out the garbage, going to all the corners that, you don't think of in your house, getting rid of the clothes you're not using anymore. All that is stagnant energy, right? So anyway, just want to add that little note. But so we're getting rid of a bunch of junk. We have a full enough where we need a junk removal person to come pick it up. So now, when I called this junk removal person, and one of the things, or when I had her, she actually set it up. I was like, make sure you send them a picture and you lock in the price beforehand, because a lot of times what I've seen in my experience, some of these guys will do, they'll say a certain number, and then they'll come out and they'll change the number on you. Oh, I'll help you for this, that, or the other. Oh, never mind, this is too much. Now I need to up it. 35% or whatever. It's like a move that some of these guys, I've just seen it time and time again. So I'm and it kind of irritates me. It definitely already pushes my trigger, right? Of that's kind of BS. This is something that you do no matter what. You show up and you just say, there's too much and I need to change the price on you now that I'm here, right? And so in my head, I'm already preparing for this move to be worked on me. And so guy shows up, sure enough, it's not $300 to remove it. It's $400 now. Karen calls me and is like, hey, this guy's saying it's going to cost more. I'm instantly triggered, like I knew it. Like, of course I'm co-creating it with my assuming this is going to happen anyway. Right. And so I come down and I'm like, nope, absolutely not playing that game with you. You can go, and, and then I kind of go into, Brandon, teacher mode, right? Or sharing my perspectives, like but my delivery sucks. Because I'm triggered, and so I'm agitated. So I'm not being calm, cool, and collected about it. I'm like, you can tell I'm just like, angry, voice trembling a little, like, and I'm like, don't you realize I already know you do this and you show up every time and you already plan to up the price. And by doing that, you're actually creating less abundance in your life. And, you think it's helping you and it's actually hurting you. But I'm pissed, right? So the guy instantly is like, oh, taken aback a little, but he's also, here's the thing. The information I'm sharing with him is like really potent and true. And I'm like calling him out. Hey, I already know you do this to everybody, by the way, buddy, blah, blah, blah. And so, he's ready for the message, the teaching, but of course it's behind the front of my own crappy delivery. So he's also defensive too, because I'm delivering it in this agitated way and, whatever. So he goes to like, fine, okay, fine, I'm out of here, and then he goes to leave, and he's kind of, as he's leaving, we're walking him out, and he's we're kind of going back and forth a little, but now I'm starting to it's starting to sink in, like, Brandon, the information was great, but the delivery really sucked. And therefore you're blowing him out, right? He's leaving. And maybe the teaching that you wanted to get through to him will be lost now because you were triggered and you're sort of, failing your own lesson in this, right? So I'm like, now I'm like, okay, so we start going back and forth a little bit again. And I start saying, okay, well, I started like taking ownership of my delivery a little bit, but he was already so triggered in his own right. He kind of like, nope, I'm out. It's fine. And he goes to leave. Then, I feel bad. Then my partner feels bad. Like, I got to find someone new. And it's kind of like after going off on someone, you feel like, I blew it, Luckily, the guy calls back a few minutes later. He goes, you know what? I do want to be in integrity. I said 300, I'll do it for 300. And I said, you know what? I appreciate you calling back, because I was already feeling bad about my way of handling it. And, one of the things we debated about was we did add a few extra pieces of wood to the pile since our picture. I mean, it wasn't another $100 worth. It was, like nothing in the grand scheme of things. But I said, you know what? I did add a few things there. So why don't we just settle on 350? I would feel good to me after, I wasn't proud of the way I delivered, the information to you, the way I was agitated. So let's settle on 350. And I'll feel good about that. He came back, he's like, I think we both learned something today. It's like, it was a great moment of like healing and like, now the information is fully landed there. I think what I did have to offer with him. And I said to him, you know what? I stand by what the general, information I was sharing with you. And you know what? Our triggers are our treasures. And that was a trigger for me. And I'm not proud of the way I sort of reacted. And so I apologize for that. And I really appreciate you and the work that you do, and And, by the end, the guy's like, we're friends now, and it felt really good to just, I every time that happens, and then I had a time last week where someone kind of came at me cross, and in the past I would have like kind of jumped all over them, and I didn't. And I fully passed the test, right? There was no agitated Brandon at all. There's more of like, the Zen response to someone being out of alignment. And so, I'm like, that would have never happened in the past. So sometimes I'm fully landing it. Other times, my own triggers it's still there and it's coming up in some way. And the most important piece, and the reason I share this is because for you, it's probably the same. You're somewhere in your journey of overcoming. You're probably handling situations way better than you used to, and maybe not as good as you could. And you can envision that you could, in the future as the Zen Buddhist monk version of yourself, right? And that's okay. What's important is every moment is another chance to turn it all around and do it better next time. And one thing that helps me too to really focus on getting it right is I know if I don't fully pass the test, the universe is going to give me the opportunity again. So, I want to get it right as much as I can. And when I'm out of alignment, how quickly can I acknowledge my own misalignment, take ownership, put my pride aside, say it right to the person's face. I have no problem at this point in my journey taking ownership for being out of alignment and off and handling something poorly. And that's something to be proud of, and I think all of us, if we can all do that, because you're going to cool down if you were out of alignment, and just take ownership. And what happens when you do that is you actually free the other person up to say, well, okay, thank you for that. That's really big of you to acknowledge where you're out of alignment. And well, maybe I was out of alignment a little bit too. You know what I mean? It opens the door energetically there. And so I think that's a really important thing. And that's what I kind of want to leave everyone with today is, don't beat yourself up when you're out of alignment. Just fix it as soon as you can. And be as humble about that as you possibly can. And seek to repair any interaction where you weren't necessarily your best and brightest self, and know that is going to happen sometimes, and that's okay. Every moment, just how do I do a little bit better? And I think if you can do that, you are on a really, really good trajectory. And I'm proud about where I'm at and where I'm going, and I know I'm only going to continue to improve, and you are too. And yeah, thank you for doing that. The world needs more people like you doing this work. So, yeah. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to add, keep in mind too, and one of the things that I thought of as the guy drove away, I was having a conversation with another friend about mosquitoes and how it's the only thing that I'll kill sometimes, and it's like the only animal that I've ever, her and I were talking about that and how it's like I catch and release spiders, and I really like, it's like mosquitoes, like the arch nemesis. And she was laughing about it. She goes, yeah, I've really been shifting my own perspective on that, thinking all they're doing is trying to survive. And it's like, oh, wow, I really like that thought. And it's kind of like you can take that to the junk removal guy, right? From his perspective, he's trying to survive, and he's learned, because everyone kind of doing that sort of, pickup business, let's say, or they're playing I've seen it so many times, playing these games with the numbers and shifting them once they're there, and they think it's too late for you and you don't want to go through rescheduling or whatever. And it's like he's doing what he's learned and trying to survive. So I think that helps when we get into this judgment, around, someone acting like a mosquito. So with that being said, I do have a song to leave you with. This is Hanani. I believe I'm pronouncing that correct. Hana and then space Ni. The song is called Mantra, Sun Girl in parentheses. Beautiful track. Hope you enjoy. Until next time, journey well. Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
'cause you can and you will and you can and you can and you will and you can. Just say you can 'cause you can and you will and you can and you can and you will and you can. Live well, love well, be well, 'cause you're worth it. Oh, you're worth it. I believe in life after life, after life. I believe that one day I'll fly from the ground to the sky. I am the sky, I am the light, I am divine. I will decide, I live my life, life after life. Everything beautiful must end, but it will begin again. Pretty things die, but from life comes life. Like the horizon line, from dark comes the light.
Sun girl, do your eyes melt in your natural? Pools of honey transcend the actual. Does your hair give you wings, lifted to the heavens? Angels sing, you defy the odds. You're the essence of the gods. Your skin amazes. You shine through the earth and its hazes, brown and golden. You broke the mold, and your lips, your nose, broad like the skies. You need not disguise. Dance, sun girl, you were made to fly.
Life after life, after life. Do you believe that one day you fly from the ground to the sky? You are the sky, you are the light, you are divine. You will decide, you live your life, life after life. Live well, love well, be well, 'cause you're worth it. Oh, you're worth it. I am golden. I am sun. I am chosen.